No, I haven't walked by recently.
Okay, because a lot of people walk by the screen.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. You are voting for the devil. Don't you know that?
No,
Why are you voting for him?
because I believe he is the moral candidate.
Oh, my God. You for that one.
That's exactly
Moral?
right. That's how your side acts.
Oh, my God.
That's
He's
how
the
you
most
guys-
immoral person around.
In your opinion, that's
Oh,
okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. God bless you.
Oh, fuck.
Hello, beautiful creatures of the world, and welcome back to Coffee with Kerri-Lynn. It's a beautiful day in the far north of Maine, up along the Canadian border in the crown of Maine. I hope everyone is having a beautiful fall day wherever you might be. I hope you're having a day filled with fabulosity and dang good coffee, because everybody needs a dang good cup of coffee to get through their day. If you get that dirty dishwater coffee, throw it on out. You do not need that aggravation in your life. There's a lot more aggravation that you could be focusing on if you want some aggravation in your life. How is everybody doing? We took yesterday off because we had the grandboys over. And Mom and Dad took the girls downstate a little bit. And it was an absolutely amazing day. It was like 71 degrees. The sun was shining. The breeze was warm. We took the boys in the great outback. And we collected leaves off the ground. Bright, brilliant, beautiful leaves. Put them in little baggies so that they could take them home. We collected pine cones. We sat in the yard under the pine trees and had an amazing picnic. And kids are fascinating. And kids are fascinated when they come here. They really are. We live differently because, we're OG on the homestead, and they're modern. They love that I cook over actual fire. They're just absolutely fascinated. So it was just really, really cool. And we did baked ziti for supper. They helped make baked ziti. One of the grandboys is 4 and one of the grandboys is 2. So they got to mix up some ingredients, sprinkle cheese all over everything. They just absolutely, positively loved help making supper. And every time I tell them I gotta go check on the stove, they're like, you gotta put the fire in, Mima. So Mima put the fire in, and we had a wonderful day here on the homestead. I hope everybody had a great day yesterday. I hope everybody is doing well. Mental health check, people. How are you doing? I know the world is a dumpster fire. It's going to be a dumpster fire for a long time. Our political shenanigans are going to go on for a long time. And people are really having a hard time. At the beginning of the week, on Monday, update on the Tim Pool story. On Monday, Tim Pool wasn't going to do a show because his computer in the new studio fried. Then he decided he was going to do a show because the guest was already there. So they went on, and Tim was like, this is possibly the last show. We did a whole story about that the other day. And I'll link it in case you missed it. I'll link it in the description box below. You can go watch what I said on Tuesday. I called it, ladies and gentlemen. I called it. Tim Pool had a meltdown. Everybody the next day was screaming burnout. Yeah, he threw his employees under the bus. He ranted and he raged and he railed, and he doesn't have enough time in his life. And I said on my show on Tuesday, it's because they want to have a family. Lo and behold, congratulations, Tim and Allison. They're going to have their first child, a little girl. There is no due date yet, but we wish Tim and Allison the best. And, like I said in my video, you hit a certain age. I think Tim is 40. And you have worked your entire life. Tim has built this major company. He is a player in the alternative media realm, and when you hit about 40, when men hit about 40, a thing happens. It absolutely happens to them. It happens to women too. You look back on everything you've accomplished. And then you think about everything that you want to accomplish. And if you have not had or started a family by the time you're 40, by the time I was 40, I was all done. My youngest turned 18. I was 40 years old. It was over. We were empty nesting. We were completely empty nested by the time I was 42. So we've been empty nesting for a very long time here on the homestead. But if you haven't started a family yet and you're 40, you start feeling it. And the biological clock is ticking when you are with a person that you know you want to spend the rest of your life with. And that's what was going on. I had said it in my show that they want a family. And a family they are having. So once again, congratulations, Tim and Allison Pool. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, TDS is a real thing. It's absolutely a real thing, as we saw at the beginning of today's show. If you're joining me on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, or Pandora, you didn't get to see it. Maybe you'll get to hear it. Maybe we can somehow get the audio in for you. Maybe we can. I don't know. TDS is a real thing, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world. People walking up on your property, screeching at you. I have a funny story. It doesn't matter how many no trespass signs you put up, private property signs you put up, guard dog on duty signs you put up. Ladies and gentlemen, they come right up on your property. The canvassers for Kamala Harris. They come right up on your property until they hear the dogs. We had an experience. On Monday where a Kamala Harris canvasser decided to come to the house, pulled in the yard, ignoring all the signage, stepped out of the car, and we have Big Brutus in the house. Now, we're well marked. Do not come on the property because we have dogs that will eat you. We'll figure it out in court if you get bit trespassing on my property. That's how we feel around here. But this young gentleman proceeded. I open the window. The dogs are going wild. I'm here for Kamala Harris. I says, well, I'm here for Donald Trump. Oh, he says, he's hedging. He's not sure. The dogs are going wild. There's dogs in every window. I'm hanging out the window talking to him. I'm like, dude, you got to go. I says, we're just not interested in this. We've already made up our minds. We have ranked choice voting in the state of Maine, and I told him all 5 little dots are going to be filled in for Donald Trump. So you can just go. And he's waving the little, Kamala Harris brochure. And he's like, can I leave this? I was like, dude, if you don't get in your car right now and go, I'm going to open my door. And you are going to have to run for your life. And he's still out there talking. So the king of the castle is standing by the door. Opens the door just a crack. The dog's face comes out. And I have never seen somebody run so damn fast up the friggin' driveway. I wish I was recording it because it was absolutely hysterical. And that's how we handle Kamala Harris canvassers at our house. Insistence. He was really polite. Most people in the state of Maine are polite. We haven't encountered any crazy Kamala Harris communist supporters coming to our home, but most people are pretty good about it and pretty nice. Just when people's property is posted, adhere to the postings. You just can't make people understand until they almost lose their lives on your property. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, we are now being told, remember the good old days? When we went to vote, everybody voted on one day, basically. We went to vote. The votes were calculated and counted. It was paper ballots. The votes were done by hand, counted by hand. No machine to go into. Counted by hand. The good old days. Gen Xers know what I'm talking about. We're probably the very beginning of our voting careers, our voting abilities were done, and they still didn't have the computers that read the vote like at school when you took the SATs. Everything was still done by hand, especially in small towns. And by the end of the night, all the towns called in, the jurisdictions called in, and you knew. They called the winner, sometimes at midnight, sometimes at 1 o'clock in the morning. Somebody conceded. You knew before you went to bed at that hour. You woke up the next morning and that person was still the victor. Things changed in the Gore-Bush election, and Gen Xers know about this one too. The hanging Chad changed everything. The hanging Chad changed it all. But we still got to find out who our president was. It happened to be Bush. And Gore was no better. It's voting for the least evil at the time that you're presented with the choice. And within a reasonable amount of time, we understood that George Bush won. He was the president. Nowadays, we have election month. All of November is going to be election month. We have swing states that are now saying that there is no way they can possibly count the votes in one evening. There is no way that they can project a winner until the middle of the month. About 15 days out from the election before they can tell you who your next president might be. Because they need that much time. That much time when these damn slips of paper go in that little machine and read the results. But they need that much time. Nothing's counted by hand anymore. I don't know. Fox News announcing that they are not going to have election results until 9 days after the election. They're thinking around the 14th of November before they can give you any election results. Because of the shenanigans. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, you need to get out and vote this year. You are either going to vote for freedom or you are going to vote for communism. I'll tell you who I'm voting for, and all 5 fancy little dots on my voting ballot are going to be filled for Donald Trump, because I am not voting to send your children to war. I'm not voting to draft your children. A vote for the other side drafts them. They're crazy on the other side. They're crazy. As you can see at the beginning of the video. This is going to be one wild election. Get out and vote on November 5th. Vote in person. And if you're in Maine, all 5 of those little dots you can fill in for Donald Trump. You don't have to pick and choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and all different people. One person can take all 5 dots, just in case you didn't know. It's going to be a wild ride. We're not going to apparently know what's going on for a while. So we're going to be kept in the dark. They're going to gin this up. Y'all know they're going to gin up the anxiety as to who might have won. Plain and simple. Ask yourself when you step in the voting booth and answer from your heart. Is your life better today under the Biden-Harris 3.5 years, who has let hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people over the border? Those people are committing crimes against U.S. citizens, taking their homes in many, many cities across the country. Aurora, Colorado, Denver, Colorado, San Antonio, Texas, Trenton de Aguera, New York City, Miami, Florida. And those are just the ones we know about. Trende Guerra has been let in, ladies and gentlemen. They are the largest dealers in cocaine. They are human smugglers, human traffickers of women and children. And now they are taking apartments away from United States citizens. They want the apartment building. They go in with their weaponry and they just take it. That's what Biden-Harris gets you. More of that. But ask yourself when you go to vote, is your life better today? Financially? Can you afford your food, your gas, your housing, your shelter, your bills? Can you go on vacation? Or is your life better when Donald Trump had his first presidency? I can't answer that for you. I can't answer that for you. That's something that you have to do from your heart. And for the people with TDS that absolutely think that if Donald Trump wins, this is for these commie Democrats over here. They're really wild ones. Understand nothing happened to you under the Trump presidency the first time. Nothing's going to happen to you. Nobody wants anything to happen to you. But what will happen to you is that Trende Guerra will move into your neighborhood. That's what will happen to you if Harris Walls gets to keep the borders open. If she takes the presidency. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, be the kindness that you want to see in the world. If you encounter anyone with Trump Derangement Syndrome, just walk away. It's just so not worth the argument. If you don't know who you're voting for by now, I don't know. Meditate. Pray. The answer will come to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Carpe Diem. Because nobody promised us a tomorrow.